Hey you guys, it's your girl T, and I've gotten a lot of requests. Our favorite attention whore has now gone public. She's gone to the national media to put Matthew Knowles on blast. So yes, his baby mama, Alexsandra Wright, took to Inside Edition to basically air out her grievances against Matthew Knowles. She's upset that he's behind on child support, and on top of that, he refuses to acknowledge or really see Nixon. So she's real upset about everything. I'm going to go ahead and play you guys the video clip now, and I will come back with the rest of my commentary.
This adorable 4-year-old boy is Beyonce's half-brother, but they've never even met. Now the mother of Nixon, Alexsandra Knowles, is speaking out exclusively to Inside Edition.
I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to fight tomorrow, and I'm going to fight the next day, and I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting, because that's the only way to give him his identity.
Mom Alexsandra Wright claims she'll have to file for public assistance because she says Beyonce's father, Matthew Knowles, hasn't paid $32,000 in court-ordered child support.
How much has Matthew Knowles seen his son?
You've seen more of my son today than he has.
40-year-old Alexsandra is a former actress who appeared in this 2001 episode of the TV series Scrubs. She said she had an 18-month affair with Matthew Knowles, who was married for 31 years to Beyonce's mother, Tina. When Nixon was born in 2010, a paternity test confirmed Knowles is the father.
I tried everything to not have it public, but unfortunately, that's just not the way that Matthew chose to deal with this.
The affair tore Beyonce's family apart. Her mom filed for divorce, and Beyonce fired her dad as manager. The superstar and her father are now estranged.
I don't expect Beyonce to take accountability. It's not her problem, you know? It's not her situation.
Now get this. Alexsandra claims that Matthew Knowles actually suggested that she hand over their son to Beyonce and Jay-Z so they could raise him as their own before their daughter, Blue Ivy, was born.
Beyonce and Jay-Z have never attacked me. They've never done anything wrong to me. They have never been negative at all.
Matthew Knowles' attorney told us he has no comment, but in published reports, Knowles has denied he's a deadbeat dad. Now this mom hopes that someday Beyonce will finally meet her little brother.
Every time a rock gets thrown, I get knocked down, I'll get right back up. There's nothing better to fight for than my son.
Okay, so you guys just watched the news clip, and I didn't want to come out with a video right away because I wanted to see how Matthew Knowles and his camp would respond to her going to Inside Edition. So basically, Beyonce and Solange had zero fucks to give. They refused to mention or even acknowledge this woman. Matthew Knowles has complied by going to court and basically being awarded a lowering of his child support payments to her. So she's gone from getting $12,000 a month. Now she's only going to be receiving $2,400 a month. So here goes a snippet of the story that Radar Online and TMZ broke. So basically they're stating that Matthew Knowles has gone from paying $12,000 a month down to him paying about $2,400 a month because he only made $127,000 last year. So he's no longer making the millions that he was making when he was Beyonce's manager. And because of this whole affair and how he did his wife Tina, he lost his management position with Beyonce. Beyonce, of course, sided with her mom. And basically now he's trying to, reinvent himself and trying to produce other groups. So this whole situation is just a mess. And the sad part is the person who's hurting all of this is this innocent child, Nixon. This child didn't ask to be here. Alexsandra is trying to come off like she's just this naive teenager. While, I feel bad, that all this drama caused and it's not Beyonce's responsibility, to help out or anything like that. But my thing is this, why would you even bring up Beyonce and Jay-Z's name? It's not their responsibility. She shouldn't even mention their name in that whole interview. And to say that Matthew Knowles tried to force Beyonce and Jay-Z to claim that child, even if that was true, she should have just kept that to herself. I just think this woman is just an attention whore. Point blank, I've always said it. I think she wants attention. And what people need to realize, especially women, is that a man is only going to be attached to a child depending on how attached he was to the mother, okay? The reason why he's so attached to Beyonce and Solange is because him and Tina Knowles built a foundation. They were there together. They were married. That was their family. You were the side piece. You were the jump off. You were supposed to just be there to be his little sex toy. You got pregnant by him and you chose to keep that child. that just turned him off. And that's what a lot of women don't realize, is that you can't be the side piece and then get pregnant and then expect for the man to treat you how he treated his wife. It's not going to be the same bond. And unfortunately, it's the children who suffer from these affairs, you know, because these kids are innocent. But she wants Matthew Knowles to treat this child how he treated Beyonce and Solange. Matthew Knowles has no bond to this child at all. He wasn't with her through the pregnancy. It was supposed to be strictly about sex. She thought that getting pregnant by this man was going to somehow elevate her, you know, her acting career, and it was going to make her famous, and it blew up in her face. This man has since remarried. He's married to a model named Gina Avery. So they got married last summer. Beyonce and Solange did not attend that wedding, but he's remarried to somebody who wasn't a jump off. You know, and I think that she's upset because she had in her head there was going to be this picture perfect, you know, situation. She was going to take Matt away from his wife, and they were going to be together. He was going to marry her, and the fact that, you know, she bore his firstborn son, you know, she thought that was going to give her some type of precedence over everybody else, and it didn't. It just kind of blew up in her face, and now she's upset. The best that she can do is just hope that this man pays his child support. She gets her $2,400 a month, and she basically tries to find Nixon a good stepfather, because I just don't see Matthew Knowles stepping up. He has no bond or attachment to this child. Is it okay? Is it fair? Is it right? No, it's not. Because he helped create this child. And in a perfect world, he would treat this child with love and want to raise him and bring him around his other children. But it's not a perfect world. And so many times when the jump-offs get pregnant, when the side chicks get pregnant, the children suffer because the men don't want to have anything to do with the children, because the children is a constant reminder of that infidelity, his marriage being broke up, his daughters being estranged from him. That child is a constant reminder, and Matthew doesn't want to be reminded by that. And that just shows his character. And for her to be shocked about how he's treating her, to me, I just find it hilarious. How are you shocked? But when this man had no respect for his own wife, he cheated on his wife with you, you know what I'm saying? He got you pregnant, but now you're shocked that he's not, that his character is flawed, and that he's not this perfect man that you thought that he was. If he was a perfect man, he wouldn't have been playing his wife. So, I mean, her logic to me is just backwards as hell, how she's trying to come off like she's just some ditzy teenager who was just played and abused and, you know, just got drawn into this relationship, and how she's trying to minimize the responsibility that she played by getting pregnant by a married man. You know, I don't have sympathy for this woman. I have no sympathy for her at all. The only person who I have sympathy for is this innocent child who deserves to know his father, who deserves to know, you know, his siblings and things like that. Unfortunately, because of the circumstances of how he was conceived, that's not going to happen. And I don't blame the Knowleses. I don't blame Beyonce. I don't blame Solange. I don't blame Jay-Z. I would not want to have anything to do with the child that was created in that manner, be it if he was my half brother or not. You know, that's your family with your mom, and that's your business. I don't think Beyonce or Solange owe the little boy or the mother anything. You know, it might sound cold, but it's just the truth. Me personally, I just wouldn't pay any attention to her or him. I don't know. I just don't have time for foolishness, and I just think this whole situation is just foolish, and I think that she should have thought better before she got herself into this situation. And, you know, she thought she was going to come up and be rich, and now, unfortunately for her, the child support has been cut even more drastically, and she needs to find a way to basically reinvent herself and get a job. There's nothing wrong with her. I don't think this woman needs to be on public assistance, because she used to always brag to the blogs that, you know, that she didn't get with him for money, and before she met Matthew Knowles, she had herself together and she was making good money, and her father owns a winery. So she was always bragging about, you know, the money she had before. But it's funny that once she got knocked up, all of a sudden, you know, all her ventures and everything else and all her goals just went by the wayside. It's like now all of a sudden she can't fend for herself, but before she had this child, she was able to feed herself just fine. You know, I just look at her as an opportunist. So to me, her and Matthew Knowles, they both deserve each other. They're both, you know, just trashy people. He was trashy for how he did his family, and she was trashy for being a part of that. You know, he better hope that his wife that he's with now, who's a beautiful woman, doesn't end up playing him and leaving him for a younger man who's more well-to-do than he is now that he's going broke. So, you know, karma's a real bitch. So anyways, go ahead, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this entire ratchet situation. Let me know what you think about everything. All right, deuces.